When played at her best, Zelda is one of the most dangerous enemies in the game, both offensively and defensively. If you're here simply to see what Zelda's strengths and options are, either out of curiosity or as a competitor who wants to learn how she works, then you've come to the right place. If you're aspiring to mean Zelda yourself, I should warn you that at a high level of play, Zelda requires precision, good reaction time, and mechanical proficiency to use. Zelda will play matchups differently or pick different stages depending on the matchup. As such, there is no band-aid game plan you should apply with Zelda regardless of her opponent. I'll instead highlight Zelda's moves individually and how they are used in different situations. I'll start with Zelda's specials first. Many characters have normal attacks that can define that character. Zelda instead is defined by her special moves, and will likely be using them just as much as any of her other attacks. Zelda's bread and butter special move in this game is without a doubt Phantom. Phantom is an attack that gets stronger as Zelda continues to charge it. Zelda can release the Phantom at any time by pressing down special again. It has multiple phases. Instant release lets out a kick, slight charge lets out a punch. When the sword appears, it does a horizontal slash. When the shoulder pads appear, it'll do an overhead swing. When the helmet appears, it'll do an underhand swing. And the next charge will fully charge the Phantom, which will delay it for a little over a second and then fly out with the underhand swing variation. The underhand swing variations are low enough to hit opponents hanging on the ledge, as well as catch the vulnerable 2-frame ledge grab. This is especially powerful against characters with recoveries that do not snap the ledge, like Cloud and Chrom. If Zelda enters hit stun, the Phantom will disappear, even if you get the fully charged Phantom, which I will call Delayed Phantom from here on out. Taking damage but not entering hit stun will not destroy Phantom, such as taking damage from Fox lasers. As long as Phantom has begun its attack, it will not be destroyed even if Zelda enters hit stun as it flies out, meaning it can trade with attacks as long as you release it with good timing. The Phantom shield is immune to projectiles, similar to the hero shield of Link. Phantom is considered a projectile, and thus can be reflected, pocketed, or pulled in with moves like Rosalina's gravitational pull. Lastly, if Zelda is traveling through the air while charging this move, it will catch onto ledges behind Zelda, even if she doesn't land on the floor herself. This is useful when going for edge guards, as you can set up Phantom to cover high altitudes on the stage, while simultaneously putting Zelda offstage to edgeguard her opponents. The range goes high enough to cover platforms on many stages such as Battlefield, Pokemon Stadium, Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Story, Unova Pokemon League, and Kalos Pokemon League. If you're too close to the platform, Overhead Phantom Slash will cover the platform as well. The upswing range is so massive that it can hit opponents from underneath the stage. There are certain matchups in which Phantom does not provide Zelda with free reign over stage control, such as characters with piercing projectiles like Ivysaur's Razor Leaf and Mega Man's Metal Blade, both of which will go right through Phantom even if released early. There are other projectile matchups that can make setting up Phantom difficult, like Wolf's Laser or Youngling's Fire Arrows, but these projectiles are non-piercing. Against projectiles like these specifically, there is an advanced tech with Phantom that is very helpful, called Displaced Phantom. If you've seen C-Stick macro specials by My Smash Corner, you may have heard of this already. If Zelda charges Phantom within 1 frame of leaving jump squat, the Phantom will stay grounded as Zelda jumps through the air instead of staying behind her as she moves. If you do a retreating jump with this technique, Zelda can position herself behind her Phantom, which will allow it to stop projectiles like Wolf's Laser. The most important thing about the input is to make sure you dash back before pressing jump and then immediately input down special in the other direction. Luckily, the buffer system comes in handy here, as you have essentially 4 frames to buffer your Phantom after inputting jump. The difference between knowing this tech and not can change the dynamic of whole matchups entirely. This move is extraordinarily powerful, and easily the move she'll be using the most. Nehru's Love is one of the most powerful defensive options in the game. Zelda is granted invincibility frames from frame 4 to 12, giving her 9 total frames that she cannot be hurt. During the majority of this move and most of the iframes, Zelda is also surrounded by a hitbox that knocks enemies away. The combination of intangibility and hitboxes makes this move incredibly powerful and is especially useful for breaking combos and juggles. In Ultimate, this move resets your aerial momentum, and then gives you control of your drift almost immediately afterwards. This is a crucial change from Smash 4. It becomes possible to cross up the launch of Nehru's Love, as the opponent will almost always be launched in the opposite direction that you are drifting. Nehru's Love can be reversed, making this feat even easier. Nehru's Love also reflects projectiles, and the duration of this reflect can be deceiving as it persists slightly after the encasing crystal around Zelda disappears, meaning that most projectiles will not be able to punish it unless the opponent has very good timing. The knockback of Nehru's Love is also stronger in this game, meaning at higher percents, if the move is used off stage, it can sometimes just kill outright. However, be careful when using this move, as it has a decent amount of end lag, and if you use it too much, the opponent can read it and go for a hard punish. When using Delayed Phantom, you can beat out the approach options of an opponent with Drift Back Nehru's Love. This will protect you, and then launch them into the upswing of the Phantom. At the ledge, the combination of Phantom and Nehru's Love creates a powerful ledge guard, as you can set up Phantom, use Nehru's Love while drifting in to beat your opponent's recovery option with the iframes, and then send them into the path of Phantom, which can kill opponents very early. Furori's Wind is Zelda's up special, a teleport recovery with great range and a powerful hitbox. You don't always have to commit to the second hit, and can instead just use the first hit of Furori's Wind to get opponents off of you and teleport away. The first hit comes out on frame 6, making it Zelda's fastest option out of shield, as up specials out of shield bypass jump squat frames and shield drop frames. With this speed, any unsafe pressure on your shield can lead to a kill, sometimes absurdly early. The first hit can be DI'd, so be warned that you may have to react to or anticipate this DI. Being a teleport recovery, Zelda becomes an incredibly difficult opponent to intercept. Typically, a weakness of teleport recoveries is that they have no hitbox during the recovery, meaning they can be punished with a lingering hitbox at the ledge. Zelda can play around this, as her teleport has a hitbox upon reappearing, and she can hold down during her teleport before grabbing the ledge to have the hitbox come out and give herself some coverage. Like other teleports, Zelda can grab the ledge with frame 1 invulnerability if she teleports to it from a point higher than the ledge itself. She can also edge cancel it on platforms or on the edges of stages, though the timing and distances for this is considerably more difficult than other teleports like Mewtwo or Palutena. Nonetheless, familiarizing herself with it and making it second nature can help Zelda mix up her options while in disadvantage, her arguably greatest weakness. Zelda is given control over her drift almost immediately after reappearing. You can take advantage of the increased drift by using Furori's Wind to snipe people off stage and still be able to grab the ledge or mix up your landing in a situation that you whiff a Furori's Wind ladder. The second hit of Furori's Wind comes out frame 35, meaning you can use it to punish certain laggy options, even on reaction time, such as Simon Belmont's Axe Throw or Palutena's Explosive Flame. Furori's Wind can be used with Phantom to secure kills off stage. Setting Delayed Phantom at the ledge and then dropping down and hitting your opponent with the first hit of Furori's Wind will propel the opponent up and into the Phantom's path, making this perfect for opponents trying to recover low with their jump in order to wait out the timer on Delayed Phantom. You can also use Phantom in conjunction with Furori's Wind deep off stage for an early kill, though obviously this isn't recommended unless you're going for an all or nothing kill while vastly behind in percent, or during a last stock situation while you're similarly behind. Din's Fire sends out a moderate speed orb that can be arced up or down. It has a strong knockback, which increases the further it flies, with a sweet spot in the center. The explosion will always send the opponent in the direction that Din's Fire was traveling, even if the explosion's center is on the other side of the opponent. In previous titles, this special put Zelda into freefall animation, meaning using it off stage was a guaranteed death. In Ultimate, however, she can use it off stage and still recover. While this move looks like a projectile, it isn't. The orb cannot be interacted with and only acts as an indicator for the explosion. The explosion itself can be clanked with, however. Zelda cannot control her drift or take action while this move is active. It is not a move you should use lightly. If your opponent can punish you easily, don't use it. Some good uses for it are dissuading opponents from ledge trapping unsafely by using it as you recover, but it's best for edge guarding. The strong arc can cover both low and high recoveries. Even the weak hit is guaranteed to send your opponents away from the stage, but it's particularly strong as an edge guard for high recoveries due to the limited options provided by air dodges. If your opponent air dodges the explosion, you can then jump and hit them with an aerial. If they jump, they are now even higher than they were before, putting them in a more vulnerable state without you having to give up your position. If you notice your opponent jumping over Din's Fire a lot, position it for the jump read. You can combo Phantom with an offstage Din's Fire for an early kill, but this particular setup is very impractical because it requires your opponent to be in the Phantom's path while you are preemptively positioning a Din's Fire offstage, and unless your opponent is shield broken, no opponent is going to stay stationary for that long. Still, it's worth noting. Zelda's jab comes out on frame 4. It's changed from being a single jab similar to Ganondorf and is now instead a multi-jab with a strong launch. The hitbox extends past her hand, making this a disjointed frame 4 option in front of Zelda. Very useful for challenging approaches and punishing whiff options to get your opponents off of you. This jab, like most, can jab lock. That said, since Zelda's jab consists of 2 hits, you cannot jab twice as most characters can because you'll pass the 2-hit threshold for jab locks. The confirms off such a jab lock can of course be very deadly, considering how many strong kill options Zelda has at her disposal. Of the few jabs in Ultimate that can kill, Zelda is among them. At the ledge, this jab can kill from 120% and higher depending on how close the ledge is to the blast zone and the weight of the character. The fact that the multi-hit can be extended indefinitely makes jab very good at catching neutral getup and jump. Even at low percent, jab's base knockback is enough to give Zelda enough space to set up a Phantom, giving you great reward for landing an attack that is decently low commitment. Speaking of Phantom, her jab can keep opponents trapped long enough for a Phantom to land its attack. If the opponent has a reflector and intends to reflect a delayed Phantom, jab can stop it and trap them. In most hand-to-hand engagements, up tilt is Zelda's most powerful option. It comes out frame 5 and ends frame 29, with a hitbox through the majority of the attack. This move boasts incredible disjoint, allowing it to beat out most aerial approaches, making it a potent anti-air. This also acts as Zelda's main combo tool, and can lead to certain kill options as well. This attack also lingers for the majority of its animation, meaning it can sometimes catch neutral air dodges. Up tilt into up air is a true combo if you hit the backside of up tilt. It can also combo into back air. This is possible in some circumstances with the front hit, but the window is shorter and it's not always a true follow-up depending on the opponent's DI and their percentage. If your up air is air dodge directionally left or right, you can punish using Foroi's Wind. This move can be used to pressure opponents on platforms above you on Battlefield and Pokemon Stadium 1. Pokemon Stadium 2's platforms are slightly higher, meaning this will not work on that version of the stage. Up tilt can be used to extend combos for high damage in conjunction with neutral air. Up tilt neutral air is a very consistent string which nets Zelda around 45 to 59%, more or less depending on how long you can extend the combo. Purely for its ability to catch approaches, jumps, and start combos, this is by far Zelda's best normal option in most circumstances. Next up is Zelda's down tilt, which comes out frame 5 and ends on frame 21. She can use it almost 3 times in 1 second. As such, it is a very low commitment move, not putting yourself in too much danger. At low percent, down tilt into dash attack connects very consistently. The knockback of down tilt has been changed to be much more horizontal rather than vertical. This means that up air is no longer a feasible kill option off of down tilt at high percents. However, down tilt into forward air can consistently connect at medium percents, and can even still connect on poor DI at higher percents. This minimal vertical knockback allows Zelda to hit hanging opponents or catch the 2-frame ledge grab with down tilt into a runoff forward air, killing at very early percentages. Down tilt on hanging opponents is assisted further on slanted ledges such as Lylat, Yoshi's Island, and Yoshi's Story. Some characters' ledge hanging animation is too low to hit with down tilt, as they can only be hit during certain frames of their ledge hang, like when they periodically hoist themselves up. On a flat stage, here are the characters that cannot be hit by down tilt while on the ledge. A delayed Phantom will also work well with down tilt in the same way. If your delayed Phantom is set up on a platform while you're on a stage, your down tilt can pop opponents up to the right height to get hit. Zelda's forward tilt is a horizontal swipe that starts on frame 12 and ends on frame 36. When spaced correctly, this move can be effective as a spacing option. However, it's slow to come out and has considerable end lag, so it's easily punished. It boasts some decent kill power, and though it's not as strong as your forward smash, it comes out 4 frames faster. The swipe can be angled up or down as well. It is a niche move, and try not to forget about it, but it isn't a move you should find yourself resorting to very often. At a startup of frame 5, Zelda boasts one of the fastest dash attacks in the game. It can be used at the end of some neutral air and down tilt extensions to end combos. It also boasts considerable launch, able to kill opponents a high percent. This acts as Zelda's quickest punish option against distant opponents, and serves a similar function to her jab in giving her enough room to potentially set up a phantom. If you've set up a delayed phantom, you can dash attack either as a combo with it, or as a potential shield break option with forward smash or forward air. Zelda's other aerials cannot be discussed without first talking about her neutral air. This move acts as the glue that holds Zelda's combos together. It can be used to begin, extend, and end combos. The front of this move does 2% per hit, while the back does a little over 1%. Due to it being long-lasting, it can also be a strong edgeguarding option. With good drift, and I'll go over good drift in a moment, regular neutral air can combo into dash attack or a lightning kick. On tall opponents, or those pressuring your shield with an aerial, neutral air out of shield can be a strong punish option, and can lead to much more damage than any of her other out of shield options. From the ledge, drop down jump neutral air into jab at low percent is an effective means of getting your opponent off of you and doing a good amount of damage. At slightly higher percent, try up tilt. Due to neutral air being long-lasting, it can also be effective in trapping opponents long enough for delayed phantom to connect. There is an important thing to note about neutral air, which is the knockback cross-ups. It can launch both in front of Zelda and behind her, but it's very easy to accidentally launch the opponent the wrong way if you drift too heavily. As such, Zelda must be very cognizant of her drift while using this aerial. Too much drift and you'll send your opponent the other way. Drift too little, and some follow-ups will not be possible. Masterful usage of neutral air is the difference between short 2-hit strings and extended combos. Unfortunately, if you initiate this move far enough away from your opponent, or if you're moving past your opponent with too much speed, it's possible that they can fall out of neutral air, so be careful. The combination of Zelda's forward air and back air with Faroe's Wind gives Zelda one of, if not the most, dangerous shields in the game. Both moves are essentially the exact same, both being frame 6 aerials and killing at early percents. The weak hit of both of these aerials can also jab lock, giving her an option to lock her opponents while not immediately grounded. If you jab lock a big enough opponent like Bowser or Ridley, instant forward air or back air can connect. This sometimes can work on other characters like Samus, but the bouncing animation makes it sometimes inconsistent. While forward air has 15 frames of landing lag, back air has 16. However, back air has slightly more knockback than forward air. Be warned, however, as these sweet spots only last 1 frame, and then they become very weak sour spot hits. Due to the landing animation of forward air and back air, Zelda can sometimes low profile understanding grabs with a bit of luck. Delayed phantom and forward air can lead into very early kills, as one can send an opponent off stage, and the other will kill. These attacks, in combination, can allow pressuring with her kicks to be a lot safer, and in some cases, break shields. The application of using these aerials can be difficult, as these strong hits are not long-lasting, not very big, and Zelda sacrifices a traditional spacing aerial for them, which most characters have. However, with practice and precision, they can be your ultimate trump card. Zelda's down air is a strong spike which starts on frame 14, lasts for 1 frame, and then is followed by 10 frames of a sour spot. What's unique about the sour spot compared to other sour spot spikes is that it will still always send the opponent downward, making even the sour spot dangerous for opponents off stage. The strong hit can jab lock opponents if they are a low enough percent. The sour spot can also jab lock. If you land it around a 70% threshold, it can combo into back air or up B. Once the percent reaches 90% and above, up air will connect and usually kill unless the opponent is exceptionally heavy. Since jumping is such a common option to avoid pressure, and down air will always send the opponent downward, you can use down air to catch opponents' jumps and send them into a delayed phantom's path. As a shield break punish, down air in conjunction with delayed phantom and forward air can be used to kill an opponent with percentages as low as 20%. Alternatively, you could use phantom into down air, but this won't guarantee a kill unless your opponent is at a high enough percent, and if they are, the phantom will send the opponent flying at a higher speed, thus making delayed phantom into down air more difficult the higher your opponent's percent is because of the launch speed. Zelda's up air is among the slowest moves in her arsenal, coming out frame 14, same as her down air. However, It is made up for with strong kill power, good damage output, and impressive range, allowing Zelda to pressure opponents on the top platform of Battlefield in a short hop. It can combo with up tilt and with down throw on poor DI. Off up throw, it's possible for this move to connect, but the execution is very tight, very percentage dependent, and this percentage window varies heavily depending on the character's weight. If you're able to connect a falling up air on an opponent on a platform, you can connect 2, sometimes 3 up airs. Due to the fact that this move is slow but big, its most common use is striking opponents above Zelda and pressuring them. And of course, up air can combo off of Phantom, but usually Phantom and back air are the more desirable follow-up. Each of Zelda's smash attacks serve a different function. That said, her most useful one is her forward smash. This is a very strong multi-hit disjointed attack with decent range. The multi-hit nature of this attack can catch approaches, spot dodges, neutral getup, and jump from the ledge. Forward smash can be a decent spacing tool due to the combination of range and relatively low ending lag compared to other forward smashes. The combination of Phantom and forward smash can create kills at the ledge by forcing opponents to try and use different ledge getup animations to avoid Phantom with invincibility frames, just to get caught by forward smash. You can try a shield break with dash attack into delayed Phantom with forward smash, but if an opponent has a fast grab or an out of shield option like Fox neutral air, they may repel you and destroy Phantom in the process if it hasn't already begun flying out. Zelda's up smash may be her least used option. It doesn't hit through most legal stage platforms until the very last hit, and it's almost the laggiest move in her arsenal, ending on frame 63. This move also has no scooping hitbox on the sides, meaning it can sometimes miss opponents who are directly next to you, especially if they are short or crouching. To offset these flaws are an impressive vertical disjoint, a long-lasting multi-hit to catch landings and jumps, good damage, and kill power. It can combo off of down air or up tilt at low percents, but that's it in terms of setups. Up smash out of shield comes out frame 9, just as fast as her forward air and back air would, making non-disjointed aerials on shield risky due to many angles that Zelda can punish unsafe pressure. Besides that, it's a relatively straightforward attack with not as much variety of function as her other moves. Her down smash, however, does have some unique utility in its speed as well as its knockback angle. Besides her jab, her down smash is tied with down tilt for her fastest option at frame 5. This makes it a reliable punish option. Compared to her other smash attacks, it's relatively weak in terms of knockback, but it has a fantastic launch angle, sending opponents very low. This can lead to tech situations and set up for Zelda to edgeguard her opponents off stage as she's forced a low recovery. Down smash with delayed Phantom is also the fastest way of launching your opponent off stage into the swing of Phantom. Zelda's specialty is typically the ability to kill opponents early with devastating sweet spots or combos. However, guaranteeing an early kill isn't always possible, and this is where Zelda's grab becomes invaluable, as Zelda has 2 kill throws we'll go over shortly. We should talk about Zelda's grab first. Like most grabs that aren't a tether grab, the range isn't fantastic. Her pivot grab is another story entirely. This pivot grab is very important for punishing overzealous approaches, especially if you're backed into a corner. If your opponent is attempting to shield a delayed Phantom, a grab can guarantee that the Phantom will connect. Among non-tether grabs though, it's one of the slowest in the game. The standing grab coming out on frame 10, dash grab frame 13, and pivot grab frame 14. Luckily, the advantage that can be gained off of her throws can be well worth the speed of the grab. Zelda's forward throw comes packed with a decent base knockback, but almost no notable scaling. Its best use is if a forward throw will get an opponent off stage for a potential edgeguard. Forward throw can combo into delayed Phantom with good timing to lead to a fair amount of damage and in some cases an early kill. On the moving platforms of Town and City, you can get an early lucky kill with it, but that's about as far as the uses for this move go. Zelda's down throw is by far the most used throw in her arsenal. It's a powerful combo starter as well as a kill confirm. The catch is that Zelda's down throw can be DI'd by her opponent to send straight up, behind Zelda, or somewhere in between. A follow-up off of down throw is always possible despite the DI mix-ups. Back air sends the opponent farther away, and can actually straight up kill some of the lighter characters in the game like Pichu and Squirtle as early as 45%. Neutral air has less knockback, allowing for potential further extensions with up tilt. When Zelda is under a platform, the apex of the launch is just above the platform, making the tech timing very fast, and many may be unprepared, leading to a big punish, even when they do get the tech. Zelda's up throw can lead into conversions with neutral air at low percentages on non-floaty characters, and as mentioned earlier, it can be used in very precise percentages with good execution to combo into an up air. The timing is tight, and the percentage windows vary greatly between characters of different weights, so it's best used as a mix-up and not as something Zelda should be trying to do repeatedly. In more situations than not, down throw is the preferred combo throw. Another reason why Zelda should be dissuaded from using up throw as a combo tool is because up throw can kill opponents at relatively reasonable percentages depending on the weight, stage ceiling, and DI. As such, repeated use of up throw for combos is discouraged, as it will stale the knockback, potentially sabotaging a later up throw kill attempt. As just highlighted, the percentage range for up throw kills can vary, but for most midweights like Mario, if you're above 150%, you're usually in the clear unless you're on a stage with a higher blast zone. If you're on a platform, the percentage windows are of course lower. Zelda's back throw is the inverse of her forward throw. Relatively tame base knockback, but excellent scaling knockback. This is the second kill throw in Zelda's kit, and it's more dangerous than her up throw because it can kill a lot earlier. If the opponent isn't careful and finds himself in her grasp at 120% or higher, there'll be a great risk of death. Unless back throw can put the opponent off stage for a potential gimp or kill, this is another move you should avoid staling. Similar to forward throw, this throw can combo into delayed Phantom at medium percentages. This is helpful, considering that Zelda can throw her opponent into Phantom's path regardless of which way it's facing. If you want a stage recommendation when playing this character in a competitive environment, it really is dependent on the matchup. If you're up against an opponent who is slow and has lots of approach options like Incineroar and Ganondorf, a bigger stage could be recommended to help Zelda give them the runaround. Inversely, if you're up against an agile, lighter enemy like Young Link or Fox, you don't want them to give you the runaround instead on these bigger stages like Town and City, and the smaller stages will take further advantage of their lightweight. Final Destination is almost certainly her strongest stage, as the lack of platforms means the opponent has to address the threat of Phantom more often, rather than simply using platforms to wait it out. And it has a lower ceiling than Battlefield, helping her with vertical kill options. Don't let this be the be-all and end-all though that decides your stage selection. Every player has a different style and preferences, and you should find the stages that you feel the most comfortable with and find the most success with. When discussing matchups, Zelda is a very effective character, and can actually act as a strong pick against some of the more polarizing characters in the game, such as Olimar and Snake. Her worst matchups are characters that combine speed and having larger disjoints than she does, such as Lucina. If you plan to use Zelda against these kind of foes, proficiency in power shielding or parrying is highly recommended. Zelda requires a deft hand, precision, and good timing to use. However, in the hands of a master, she becomes one of the most dangerous opponents in the game, who rewards that mastery with powerful, explosive, and stylish finishes if you're up to the challenge. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and comment below. I'd like to give a phantom-sized thank you for watching.